Great.
Welcome to Double O Deep Dive, Pop Culture Pros, home for everything James Bond 007. Thank you for joining us, whether you are listening to us on live on the Facebook stream or on Twitter, or if you're catching us on Spotify later on in the future. We appreciate you tuning in. Let's lower that just a bit. I'm not going to turn it off yet because, goddamn, I love that song.
So good.
It's such a good song. I am your host, as always, Jason Fischetic, as I'm going by tonight, Chachki.
How was that not a Bond henchman name yet?
It should be, or at least how is that not an Austin Powers parody henchman?
Oh, wow.
Right, but I'm here to talk a little man with the golden gun. With me, as always, our forever Bond girl of the show, Claire Lee Lyon.
Claire Lee Lyon. She's Claire Lee Lyon.
Clearly,
she's a bad Bond girl. So
I see. I was mistaken with that one. Ginny, how are you today?
Good, very good. Ready to go. And this is one of my favorite Bond movies.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, but I haven't seen it in years, so I'm revisiting this one.
I'm not gonna bury the lead here. I'm just gonna say what I said over the chat to you and Ed before. Ed, who couldn't be here tonight because I think he found out that the Q is in this movie, but there's no Q brand. It's so weird. Roger Moore doesn't like gadgets.
No, he doesn't. He likes to work on his charms alone.
I guess
his charms.
But like, here's the thing about this movie, guys. Man with the Golden Gun. It is misogynistic for a Bond movie.
Yes, it is.
Like we always make the joke about a little misogyny in the Bond. They're all misogynistic.
Yeah.
Right, but this is especially misogynistic.
Yeah.
It's a bit racist, and by a bit, I mean a whole hell of a lot.
Sure is.
With our favorite Southern sheriff coming back,
I was furious. I know. I forgot. You're right.
It's inexplicable. We'll talk about him on his own.
Oh my gosh.
This movie is ableist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Bond is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he is.
And having said all that, I still love this movie.
It's like the parts I really love. I was like, oh, I know why I love this movie. I didn't black out certain like great parts of this movie, and then certain parts, like with J.W. Pepper, I was like, oh, nope. I must have been like, you were only in a minute of this, right? It was a little gag, and like, no, that was like a full 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, he's in a freaking chase. Like, I remember I watched it like an hour of it last night, and then I finished it this afternoon. And I got up to the first J.W. Pepper part, and it's only a minute, and I go, oh no, I remember there's something else. Like, we're not done here. And there was. I just said the whole 10 minutes.
Because I was like, I thought I faintly remembered you saying that he was going to come back, and I was like, it is.
But let's get to it. Let's start with the cold open, which I'll walk us through it, and then we'll talk about our thoughts. So, like, our cold open, we are close up on Scaramanga's superfluous third nipple.
I don't know. I want to say it's superfluous. They use it. It's a distinguishing feature for a man. Well, Bond says it's useless. Bond, he's right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can milk it. Like, I think if Robert De Niro would hear, he'd say that probably couldn't milk that third nipple.
No, that is like a pepperoni on a chest. It's like weird. But I remember, I'll never forget that as a kid. You don't forget that, seeing that and going like, why?
No, you don't. I forgot about the third nipple thing.
Did you? Oh, no, never.
And it's there, and I'm just like, oh right. I remembered like that was a plot point. I forgot you get like multi like close-ups of third nipples in this movie.
Yeah, we like it. Apparently we like it in this movie.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it works for Scaramanga, right? He's not attractive, you know what I mean?
No, he's perfect. And then it doesn't make him less attractive. It doesn't make him less Chris Lee, and that's it.
No, Christopher Lee, exactly. Do what he wants. He could have 7 nipples if he wants. But so like then there's a Scaramanga hanging out on the beach, and we find out later this is his own island.
Yeah,
And
I
and
love
this
it.
is why I'm a bit disappointed Ed isn't here, because Ed has a thing that like if you own your own island, you are just a James Bond villain. Like that's
Right.
it. That
Right.
you know,
That's
like
a red
there's no in
flag.
between. Yeah.
Red flag if you own an island. Yeah. No, hands
Um,
that's
and,
totally true.
and here we go. Scaramanga owns his own island, which he set up a fun house
Yes.
of like I would like to say death. It's just a fun house.
It's a fun house with animatronics and
Yeah.
dummies, which I love. And I was like, this is like one of my because it's creepy, it's weird, and I would too. This is what I would do. I would have
Yeah.
an island with like
Yep.
animatronics on an island, a little Westworldy, and just yeah, to psych people out.
I agree with you. I like honestly at this point, like if I'm any of these villains, because of course I would be the villain of a James Bond movie, it's this one. Like that, this is exactly what I would do. Like this is even my type of plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
harness solar energy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean that can help people, right?
I would solve our apparently it would solve the crisis, our crisis.
Let's just say gas wouldn't be so expensive if we were all riding around in Ed Begley Jr. cars, with solar energy. But so, and then we introduce Nick Nack, played by
Yes.
the phenomenal Hervé Villechaize,
Hervé
who,
Villechaize.
like, Nick Nack actually steals the show for me.
Yeah.
And Scaramanga is, like, in my top pantheon of best Bond villains.
Mhm.
But Nick Nack is Hervé Villechaize is so good in this.
He's like so menacing, and he's just like agile and like he's the best henchman. He's like
he is.
the most efficient henchman.
For sure. He's not being like Odd Job, just like,
No.
oh, I'm gonna be menacing, but I'm not gonna do
No.
anything till the end. Like, no, he shows up in the back and puts a gun in
Yeah.
your back,
And then he's just like he gets his work done, and he goes like over. I'm sure I know he's working overtime.
Yeah, right,
I
exactly.
just know it.
But so it establishes this great thing where if Nick Nack can find an assassin that can kill Scaramanga, and Nick Nack is his butler, then
Yeah.
he gets everything. He gets the
Yeah.
island, the resort, the women, the money, the golden gun, the superfluous nipple. Everything is his. And so it opens with him hiring, like, I don't know, like I was watching a bit of this with Regina last night, who not into these movies, which is why I love to bring her insight. But we're watching it, and she's watching this guy going, what a shitty hitman. Like, why didn't she hire this guy? Because he has a chance to pop Scaramanga, like, as soon as he sees him, he doesn't.
Right.
And then Nick Nack turns on the fun house, and like animatronic Al Capone is
Uh-huh.
there, Old West people are there, and like Scaramanga just destroys
I
this guy.
know. That guy was he was, and I don't want to be mean and say he was kind of old, but I'm sure the guy was like 35 in like
Yeah,
British
well,
70s years.
Right, British 70s. Like British 70s, that was a hard 35.
That was a hard 35.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy doesn't seem to be like, I don't know, very efficient and just like slow and yeah, a little silly.
Very silly. Let me just take a couple comments. I just want to say hello to the boss man. What's going on, Mr. Faraci? Thanks for joining us. And we have one more comment. I'm going to save. You can see this comment, right, Jenny?
No, I can't. Wait.
Oh, okay. So then I'll share it now, but then we're going to address it.
Okay.
That way you can think about it. We're going to address it when we do the Bond girls. Good friend of the show, Rick, and friend of mine, Rick Cedres goes, Money Penny or Good Night in this
Wow.
movie? So I'm going to think that over, and we're going to get to that when we talk about the Bond girls, because that's a very interesting
I have
point.
notes. Yeah, well, yeah. Again, I have not a private say it's personal, but me and my twin sister watch this movie a lot, and just like, I think it's a little more, I don't know, it's a good summer movie to me. This was like a July Bond movie as opposed to like a November Christmas movie for me. But yeah, I have lots of feelings.
It's like it was even the bad stuff I found really fun. But this cold open, like this, I'm gonna say it. This is my favorite cold open so far.
This was mine too, and I just thought, because I was like, it was so weird. Cookie, he has an island, and it's he's this lavish lifestyle this mod villain has, and his gun, which is his gun,
which is like it's a golden gun, which shoots one shot
yeah
of a golden bullet.
Yeah.
which doesn't actually make it any worse. It's just kind of badass thing to do.
It doesn't. I always thought, but I always like when a kid. I thought it was like, is this a thing where it's one bullet is like the best. It can't miss, or this is just his. He was so good. He's such a good
I
shot.
think he's such a good shot that he's
He only needs one. It's the confidence.
He only needs one bullet, which he
Okay.
actually does say at the end of the movie.
But isn't it in the Bond game? Isn't it in GoldenEye? Don't you can use the golden gun, and doesn't it really kill? Isn't what's the deal with that? It kills
And
you.
you know, and that is why I always get confused too. Because yes, in GoldenEye, you get that
GoldenEye.
golden gun, and that was an insta kill.
Right.
You got
right.
one shot, but if you pulled that shot off, your
Best
opponent was
gun.
dead.
Yeah.
But you couldn't play as Scaramanga, right?
No,
Which is
no.
kind of disappointing.
No, and he's not even a secret villain. No, there's no hack or anything like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Ever?
There was nothing. But okay, well, whatever. I guess
fine.
you know. I'm complaining about what a 30-year-old game over
The
here.
game is. I know. No one cares.
Right. But yeah, so that brings us to the credits, which I'll talk about the opening credits quickly because they're kind of boring. It's like not the song, just the visuals.
Okay.
It's half naked women underwater, and then half naked women around sparklers.
I'm too into the song, and I don't. Yeah.
It wasn't memorable. I only really remembered it because I made that note. And then there's a scene later when James Bond breaks into the Chinese diplomat's house, pretending to be Scaramanga, and you just see this woman like naked. She's obviously naked.
Yeah.
Like you could see pubic hair. I mean, it was
full HD. Yeah, you sure can.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe like when this was first recorded and put out, you couldn't. But yeah, I watched this on Blu-ray, and I was like, is she naked under there?
Yeah, so she's swimming. She's in a pool, you know.
And she's like, you want to come in? And Bond's like, yeah. And he's like, dude, you got a mission here, but but that I think is why we get
the motif because
Yeah.
and water. I guess when you get to his island, it's kind of tropical. But like,
yeah,
Maud Adams, does she swim?
I don't think
Andrea
so. That's
Anders.
good. That's
she's in a bathing. Lots of bathing suits. There's a bathing suit motif.
Like,
everyone.
Goodnight gets kidnapped and brought to the island, and she's just in a bathing suit the rest of the movie. That's it. That's what you do when you're kidnapped.
When I thought later in life when I was like 13 years old, it's like when I get kidnapped, it's just going to be bathing suits all the time, every day.
Me too. I thought I'd be I thought at this point in my life,
yes,
I'd be kidnapping women and forcing them, not by gunpoint, but just by the fact that you're on an island stuck with me and you can't go anywhere and wear bikinis.
that's the you thought it'd be a problem, but it's
I mean that's look. I had goals. All right, we can't all achieve our goals. All right, before we talk about how awesome the song is, because we are just going to talk about how awesome that song is. I'm gonna read some of the lyrics. There's no guessing game what this song is about, but I'm gonna read it just because as I was watching it today, and listening to the lyrics, I realized there is a meaning to a line I did not realize. So I'll read up till then, and then I'll tell you what I realized. He has a powerful weapon. He charges 1,000,000 a shot. An assassin that's second to none. The man with the golden gun. Lurking in some darkened doorway or crouched on a rooftop somewhere, in the next room or this very one, the man with the golden gun. Now here's the line. Love is required whenever he's hired. It comes just before the kill. I realized for the first time that's because he has to have sex before he goes out and kills someone.
Wow. That's pretty dark.
Right? Because it comes just before the kill, and there's that whole scene where she's telling Ms. Anders is telling Bond about how he comes to me right before he goes hunting, and Bond is like a bullfighter.
Yeah, wow, that's wow, that's really true.
Just today it hit me. But Ginny, why don't you talk about the song, since I know you love the song?
I do love the song. It is more appropriate Roger Moore 70s. I don't know, it's a little bit more swingery to me than like Live and Let Die is, but I just love the man with the golden gun. And like the hun is amazing, and it's super funky, and I love when it comes back in the score. It's like just very colorful, and with the orchestral part, it's like really great. No, it's just super, super. This is a funky lady. This is a little, um, oh my gosh, a throwback to the '60s. I feel like, but
Oh,
I
for
love
sure.
and then the ending song I love too.
Right,
Nice.
which is kind of a version of this,
Mhm,
right? Like,
mhm. Yeah, just singing goodnight. But I just like I'm a huge fan of this song, and I forgot how much because now I'm going to think about my ranking of songs now because I think I've definitely forgot. I didn't forget how much I like this movie, and I didn't forget how good of a villain Christopher Lee is, but I did kind of forget how good the song is,
mm,
and it's great. So,
I agree with you. It's very 60s. Like Little Lulu to me is the 60s.
mhm, mhm,
Which because she
mhm,
also did To Sir with Love, but
mhm.
like her look in the 60s was like the skirt and bobby socks and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like
Big
mod
hair.
look. So
Yeah.
I love it as well. I think it's a perfect fit for this movie. And it's a great Bond song. And we were talking about how the other week that you'd said to be an Academy Award winning Bond song, you had to be slow
I
and sad,
know.
right? But
This is
this is
not
like, no, but it's so awesome. It's just as good as those songs, if not
I
better.
know. Gets you excited, gets you pumped. I'm so pumped for just because the movie's I mean, problematic. It's gonna be problematic, but it is silly. It's silly, because even I don't know, just like it's not the villain is, Christopher Lee playing it with all the sincerity and all the darkness that you might expect or that you'd hope. But the movie, everything else kind of around it is a little silly and
Yeah,
wacky, but not
it's
too silly, but just
right.
enough. There's levity. There's a lot of levity, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's a perfect way to describe it because you're right. Christopher Lee is showing up
Yeah.
every morning of this shoot and being the fucking professional Christopher Lee must have been in like when he was
Yeah.
on set, you know,
Oh.
and everyone else around him is like having swinging orgies and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and beautiful Chris Lee. Oh my gosh. Just doing his work, being a gentleman, just being an upstanding gentleman.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I love him, and like I miss him. He's like, and you know what I love? I love that he's a guy who like he will never be forgotten,
No,
right?
I hope not.
Because either Bond fans will remember him, Lord of the Rings fans will remember him, Star Wars fans will
And
remember him,
Dracula fans will remember him.
Dracula fans
Hammer
will
horror fans will remember him. Him and
exactly. So
his friendship with Peter Cushing is like the purest thing in the world.
that is beautiful.
It's a beautiful, beautiful friendship.
That is beautiful. But so like I'm really happy that he was like able to really stamp himself on so many things because he's
Yeah,
like just a wonderful actor.
I know. So good. Ugh.
But before we go in detail about Scaramanga as a villain, I think we should talk about uh, the Roger Moore's James Bond in this. Very
Mhm.
very different than the James Bonds we've gotten before. Even very different than Live and Let Die James Bond in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
did you like this or like what was your feelings on this
'Cause
James Bond?
I don't like Roger Moore. I think the older I get, the more I'm just really I don't wanna say repulsed is a bad word, and I don't wanna offend anybody who's a big fan of his. I just like I'm just really like and he actually does give me like he should be the father of Pierce Brosnan. I feel like they're related,
Oh,
like
for
a blood
sure,
relation. So
for
I'm like, I get
sure.
elements of him, like, "Oh, no, 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 I love because I love Pierce. I love him so much, and I see that in Roger Moore." I I I think he's like, is he being more serious in this than he was in Live and Let Die?
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah?
less quips in this. There were way
Yes.
more quips in Live
Okay.
and Let Die than this.
This is gonna give me, like, I'm getting, like, whiplash of, like, how I think the order of Roger Moore movies should be, the progression of, like, how silly they get or how
Right.
sincere they are, and I think I'm all out of order anyway. I do there's moments where I really like him. I think he's genuinely a good agent in this.
Hmm.
Am I wrong? I think he's doing, like, intel, like, good intel, or I don't
I
know.
think yes and no. I did clock like a shitty agent moment where so he goes undercover as Scaramanga
Right.
to infiltrate Scaramanga's like partner,
Mhm.
and because he kind of just makes the assumption that they hadn't met.
Yeah.
And the way he does it is he just shows up at the guy's house, breaks into the guy's house in a robe and a third nipple glued on. And that's when he sees the naked woman in the pool, and
Right,
she's like, "Come
right.
on in." He just starts taking his
Well, that's what
robe
I was like.
off.
I was like, "What are you doing, Bond?" And I was like, "Is it to show that he's like, it's me because I've got that third nipple. Let
Right.
me
So
show
that
you."
so I thought that was cool, but like then it's like as soon as he gets out, like they're not even in the car yet. He's like, "I won't need this anymore." And like Scaramanga's watching him, and it's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
no, I get that there was no way he would have been able to pull this off because Scaramanga was there. Like
Yeah.
he was wrong, but like, dude, you keep that nipple on till you get back to your
That's
hotel. You
right,
don't
right,
just go,
right,
"Oh,
right.
this I don't
It's
need this.
like it's
I'm James
safe.
Bond again."
Or what did he well, that was a dumb moment, and then I wanna say, is he a little bit more like because even my husband walked in watching the movie, and he just goes, I somebody knew he was Bond. They're like, "Your reputation precedes you," and he wasn't like another agent. It was like some guy was like, "I
Oh,
recognize you, Bond."
that was
Who
Lazar. That was the gunsmith.
Yes, yes, yes. He was like, "I would love to make a gun for you." And my husband goes, "God, for an agent, Bond's really bad at like keeping his identity secret. Everyone knows who he is." And I was like, that happens. I think he's more like I don't know, aggressively trying to get information better, maybe like more like a Batman level detective style.
Yeah,
Than like an actual agent. So I was like, I feel like you're doing like your Bond, Roger Moore is trying to be serious about the job, the mission.
yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think like I think he has moments where he's kind of a shitty agent, but I mean
Mhm.
it's a movie, whatever. But I think his James Bond overall is definitely I think definitely more professional than the Bond we saw in Live and Let Die. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
This round.
and and I actually don't mind him being a bit unlikable because I liked Roger Moore in this. I think when I think Roger Moore James Bond, I always think A View to a Kill.
Mm.
And that's just unfair of me because that's when he's like he should have retired. Like
Right,
he
right,
should not
right,
have been in that movie.
right.
But I forget that when he first started out, he was a young,
Young
good looking, like
guy,
I could
yeah.
see him as a British secret agent.
Mm.
And I kind of like that he's a bit unlikable, a lot unlikable in this because I'm kind of like I don't need to like James Bond to appreciate what he's doing, you know? Like, but like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 and I was like, 'cause I found him really I think his action scenes are not great, so, like, he doesn't have a lot of them, and then when he's, like, doing martial arts, I'm like, this is not good," and then
No, no, no.
at the end, when him and Mary Goodnight are, like, escaping and there's explosions happening in the lair, I was like, "Oh, he's efficient." He's, like, being suave and dashing and just, like, competent, and I'm like, I like, "Oh, yeah, like, this is the Bond that I like," and when he's with Christopher Lee, especially at the end, I think he's just, like, great, and
That's
so
that stuff
awesome.
of them together, like I wish there was more of it, like
Yeah,
that whole
yeah.
like
Mm,
we're the same, Mr. Bond, you
mhm,
know,
mhm.
which
I made a note of that, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And it just
yeah,
and that kind of continued to the end. I was like,
it
there's a reason
was
why I like this movie so much."
yeah. There's a lot to like here, but I want to run down a couple of the dick moves Bond pulls. All right, so Bond like breaks into gets someone to open up a woman's hotel room, Miss Anders, who's one of
Uh-huh.
the Bond girls that you'll
Mhm.
talk about when we get there. Um, then then finds out she showers with a pistol, gets the pistol from her, throws her arm around and threatens to snap her arm if
Yeah.
she doesn't give him intel. And it's not it looked brutal.
No, it looked painful. It looked very
Yeah.
painful. Yeah. I don't
Um
like that. I don't like him on her behind too. I get like it's
I
like is like,
yeah,
"Ooh, don't do that. Don't do that. No, no, no."
I didn't like it. But all right, she was a villain, whatever,
Right,
king
right,
and
right. Bad
country,
bot. Yep, yep.
but
He was getting intel. He was getting intel.
right, he was getting intel. But then just the way he treats Agent
Agent.
Goodnight
Yeah.
in this movie is appalling.
Appalling.
Like he's literally just like, "Hey, you want to fuck? No? Oh, you're a loss. Oh, you're in my apartment. Let's fuck. Oh, wait, someone else come to fuck. Get in the closet." It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it'll be your." He literally says to it, "It'll be your turn soon."
Yeah, she doesn't get any respect. Poor I love oh, Mary Goodnight.
And
No, no, I know.
much different character in the book because I
Is
finished the
she?
book. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I would love to know because I'm actually a huge fan. I will tell everyone right now. Me and my sister really do love Mary Goodnight. So just laying that out there. But of course we'll address it.
But so in the book, so this is the last of the James Bond novels. Like
Wow.
the short
Wow.
stories come after, but this is the last novel,
Okay.
and it picks up um right after the events of Live and Let. No, right after the events of You Only Live Twice.
Okay.
So
Like,
everyone thinks Bond is dead,
oh
and
my
he's
god.
actually been taken by the KGB and reprogrammed. And the cold open of that book, which was awesome, but I still had really enjoyed the cold open of this book, is he is sent as an agent by the KGB to assassinate M.
Exactly. You said that's insane.
And then they wrestle him to the ground, they unprogram him, and they pretty much send him on a suicide mission and say, like, if he does this, he's back in our good graces, all is forgiven. If he doesn't, he dies a hero. And that suicide mission is to hunt down Scaramanga. So Goodnight was his, and she's been in all of the ones I've listened to. She's been in. She's his secretary, like Moneypenny's
Oh.
M's secretary. Miss Goodnight is his secretary. Nothing ever happened between them. He was always very respectful
Oh my
to her.
gosh.
And then everyone thinks he's dead, and so when he shows up in Jamaica and she's working in Jamaica working with another agent, she's so happy to see him, and they have sex. But it's not like we love each other. It's a mutually agreed thing. Like, well, we're both attractive people, and
Oh.
we don't work with each other anymore. Why didn't we do this before? And then
Oh,
they do
I
it.
kind of dig that.
Yeah, and then and then Bond doesn't then treat her like garbage. Bond goes on his mission to
Right.
infiltrate what he's doing with Scaramanga, and she actually comes back because she takes a huge chance and infiltrates his cover to pass him information that the KGB know he's around, and they got someone gunning for him. So,
Okay.
she's very competent and intelligent and respected in the book. So to see her be kind of an idiot,
Damn.
I don't want to get.
A
I mean,
ditz. Well, a ditz. Yeah.
ditz, definitely
No,
a
for
ditz.
sure.
So
And I'm a
yeah,
ditz. I can say that. So.
no, you're not.
It's
But
fun.
before I ask you to talk about the Bond girls, because I think it is time, I do want to mention one more Bond. No, two more Bond as a dick moments. One, when they get him in the training dojo, and like the one person goes to bow to him, and he just kicks him in the face.
Oh man.
I mean, but here's the worst and the most egregious. It is when the indigenous boy trying to just eke by a fucking living in Thailand, selling these tchotchkes.
Tchotchke.
And then he's jumping, actually really cool. I want to see this kid's story because he's literally just like jumping from riverboat to riverboat to sell his elephant.
Yeah.
And Bond's about to start a jet boat chase, and his jet boat is jammed. And the kid's trying to sell him this monkey, and he goes, "I'll give you 20,000 pounds or something, whatever. I don't remember what the currency was. If you can get this to start." And the kid flips a switch, and he goes, 20,000 pounds, mister. And Bond just smushes his face and tosses him into the freaking water.
He's like, give me the money. And he's like, no, I don't have it. It's like, you go away.
I mean, that is a supreme dick move.
That's, oh my gosh. Oh, I had so many notes about that. I was like, oh no, this child. Oh no.
But having said all that, I actually do. I dig Dick Bond. I do.
Yeah.
I don't need a nice Bond.
We have nice bonds. Well, we get nice
yeah.
bonds. I think
We do. Yeah, I think Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, he's our chivalrous one. Yeah,
he's our chivalrous Bond.
I don't see anything chivalrous about Roger Moore.
No.
I've yet to see. About.
Speaking of anti-chivalry, why don't you talk about catch us up on the Bond girls this week?
Oh, we've got I don't know how many we classify as like Bond girls, but we at least have two major ones. So, include first our bad Bond girl, Maud Adams. So Andrea Anders, who she is like a Bond. She's in like a lot of Bond girl movies though. Maud Adams, that actress.
Has she?
She's Octopussy.
Oh, is she?
What's the
I thought.
deal? Yeah, it's
Oh
her, I
wow, I
think.
didn't realize that.
Because I was like, I don't remember. I guess it must be because she's a little basic. She's big blue
Yeah,
eyes and
I
like
mean,
brown hair. So I'm like, you're very 70s looking. I'm like, you kind of look,
yeah. To me, she looks like every generic pretty 70s woman, you
yeah,
know?
very,
Like nothing
yeah.
wrong with it. Just that's
Super
how I
pointy
classify her.
nose, like
Yeah.
cheekbones, very, very skinny. They're all very skinny. I'm like, I was like, but why weren't you in two? It's like that thing with the general from like the 90s movies.
Yeah, right. Like
It's weird.
are there not enough actresses
Uh,
in Holly or
You
in
liked her
what
this much?
right. Like I mean, she was okay, but like
She's
out
fine.
of all the Bond girls we've seen so far, she's not high on my list of the ones
No,
I'd bring back.
I don't think I'd put this one on my list. But she's just she's Scaramanga's number one girl, especially since he needs a lady before he kills, and she like doesn't she's reluctant to be with him. It seems like she's kind of okay with the lifestyle in the beginning, but she tells Bond at least, well, she reveals that she coaxed him to come and
Right,
kill him.
because the movie starts, not to interrupt you, but because we just jump around, we go out of
Yeah.
order. But the movie starts with 007's like number being found on a golden bullet,
Well, yeah.
while they are like while MI6 investigating Scaramanga, and so they assume that Scaramanga has been given $1 million contract to assassinate James Bond, which is what gets Bond into the mission. And we find out that it was actually Ms. Anders that had set him up.
Yeah, and then she's like, I just hope that you would have like, you would. I don't want to be like this anymore. And she's obviously, yeah, I don't know, but we don't like the way he's like, acting towards her. She's like a kept woman and doesn't want to be there anymore. But she, also, tries to use her own body to be with Bond and just to like take me away from all this. But unfortunately, it's that she's ill-fated and she gets killed by Scaramanga. He finds out what she's doing. I think she kind of knows that was a risk and that was gonna happen, but
Yeah.
she takes one for the team, and this is our track of women who, if you get involved with Bond and you're in, you get taken out. But we
That's it.
also have our less tragic girl, Mary Goodnight. Her first name is Mary, and she's very blonde and very she's Britt Eklund, so she's also gorgeous and very 70s, but she's very ditzy, very like bubbly, very bubbly. The most bubbly Bond girl we'll ever get, I would
For
argue.
sure.
And
I think one of the least respected ones by James Bond himself.
Totally. But she also kind of, I don't want to say she doesn't respect herself, but she says, what does she say? What her line was like, he's like, well, what she was like pushing, she rebukes his advances, and then she kind of gives into him because there's a moment to like, sleep together. And he's like, whoa, what made you change your mind? And she's like, I'm weak. And that's her literal line. And it's kind of funny.
It's funny, but I think she is single-handedly what makes this movie the most misogynistic James Bond movie.
She's setting our sex back. I just did what I would think was, because I get a kick out of her that she's like that she always is getting, like you said, she gets pushed into it. They're going to make love. She gets then Maud Adams comes in, the other Bond girl is like, and then I need to let's do this. And so Bond's like, okay, Mary, we're gonna come back to this later. But he shoves her in a closet, so she has to listen to it for like 2 hours.
He has sex for 2 hours with this woman in the closet.
Yep. And when again I go, and now looking at that, I go, oof, gosh, that's awful. And she's kind of like, and she rightfully is like, how dare you? But she's not as mad as she should be. And oh my gosh. And then she also gets shoved into a trunk because she's also very tiny, but she gets shoved into lots of tiny places where no respect. Poor Mary Goodnight.
And they use her as such a like almost punchline. Like,
yeah, a punchline. She's a big
when they get the
punchline.
Solex, which is the MacGuffin that everyone's looking for, that's step 1 solar power, step 2 the Solex, step 3 profit.
Yeah.
Right. But so like they get this super important thing that everyone is looking for. They've gotten it from Scaramanga, and they go, here, Miss Goodhead, take the most important thing in the movie and the car keys and go wait outside. I'll be right back. And then, of course, like she gets kidnapped by Knick Knack.
I know she does get it's a problem. And she's an agent. That blew my mind. I think thinking about that she's like she's in the field. She's
Yeah.
she's more than a secretary.
That's the
Um
thing, because it's not even like I'm saying, oh, Knick Knack, because I think Knick
no.
Knack is very
No,
competent,
knickknack is
you know.
no.
But it's like she is a trained MI6 agent. Granted, I don't think she's a double O,
No.
but like she's got some field training. How's she getting like high? How's she like? And she doesn't even know how she gets in the back of the car when Knick Knack gets her. She's
Nope.
like, yeah, I don't know. I just got in the. I'm in the trunk of a car. What happened? Like, the hell are you doing?
She's bubbly about it. Her disposition is great. Is great for near death situations. You know what she's like? It's like Strawberry Fields in like Quantum of
Yes.
Solace, which is like
Yes.
not great that we had her in like well into the millennium, but I was like, this is like I feel like if she had stayed around a little bit longer, Strawberry Fields would have, you know, with handled herself better than Mary Goodnight would have. But
Oh, for sure.
still
For sure.
still perky and like still just I don't know. God, what's Mary Goodnight? I like that they know each other. I like that her and Bond have a bit of a
Yeah.
relationship. I love that. I do love that.
I did like that too, and I'm willing to bet that was kind of based on loosely the
In
novel.
the book. I guess that's great for because they seem to like already know each other, like each other, have sort of a flirtation. So it's all consensual. It's all like lovely. He just
Yeah,
treats her badly.
I just wish he didn't treat her so terribly.
Yeah, treats her,
And
and
I
it makes me upset hearing that the book was like healthy or I don't know, fascinating and
I
different.
mean, they have respect for each other. It's like they have
crazy.
a nice. I'm sure they have like 2 hours of sex with no one in the closet, and no one is made to feel bad afterward.
Oh no, Mary Goodnight.
I have a note, and I don't remember what this note is, but it's Bond Girl 3. Chew Me?
Chew Me, and she was swimming. She was the one swimming.
That was the swimming.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one swimming. My brain just sort of separated the
And
two.
do we count the? I don't count the girls. The girls, the cab, the karate fighting cab girls.
You know what? Maybe they're not counted as Bond girls, but I think this is the time to talk about.
They're in my heart because I was like, what is this? Is like, oh, I don't remember this part that he was just like, oh, and my like nieces are here in the car. Sorry, they're like schoolgirls and like chattering.
It's
And then,
so good.
but then there's a huge fight scene, and everyone's doing martial arts, and Bond's like, I don't know, he's trying to keep up, and the girls just show up, and they're like, oh yeah, their dad runs a karate like school, so they're like handling themselves amazingly and like
Yeah.
kicking ass, and I was like, wow, this is kind of rare for a Bond movie, maybe, and they're just like amazing,
I agree. I actually love those
stereotypical,
two.
but I was like,
Look, here's the thing. Very stereotypical, and look, on one end, you have two women that Bond is not having sex with,
yes,
kicking ass, and they do
Yeah.
like they kick ass, and he just kind of steps back, like they
Oh,
take
no, he
out
doesn't.
most of the bad guys.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of I was like shocked by that. And I was like, and also just that he was kind of like rolled his eyes because they seemed like I guess young girls that were like maybe just little teens, and he was just kind of like, oh, these girls, and they're like the best ones.
Right, exactly. You'd be dead if it weren't for them.
Exactly.
So I love that, but also then kind of racist that does every Chinese family own a karate studio? Like
Every
we are in China, because I think we're in Macau in this point, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, and then just so much. Well, that's the risk you run when we travel abroad in any, especially
Yeah.
70s Bond. Is he?
Yeah, no, and I was watching this with Regina, who has been to Macau, and has been all over Asia because she grew up in the Philippines, and she's like, she's like, man, it's always a racist stereotype of the people. You always get like the most Chinese people to be be your extras. And I pointed out to her, I was like, look, but at least we didn't get the net, right? We didn't
Oh
get
my
that.
gosh,
That's
no,
something.
no, I don't.
Something.
I bet they thought they were being progressive and like great in the 70s, and
And sadly, they probably were being progressive in the 70s.
again, this order feels wrong to me. I feel like we should start with some Russian James Bond storylines and then go into like trying to be to diversify. I don't know,
But
like to
the thing
go.
is, though, I don't think we get. I don't. I think all the Russian stuff is Sean Connery because by the
Yeah,
'70s, not to
no,
say the Cold War's over, but they're trying to branch out. Like Roger Moore, I don't think goes against the KGB if I'm
no,
mistaken. Like it's
no.
all
We're
um
um
like
well,
assassins or like underworld criminals like Mr. Big was or I think Max Shrek is Max Shrek. No, that's Christopher Walken. That's his name from Batman Returns. I forget what his name is in
Oh
A View to a
man, I
Kill,
don't
but
remember
like
any.
he's like a billionaire. So like
Right,
I think
right.
they've gotten away from the Russian stuff by this point,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Um,
um, but yeah, but I love those nieces. I do want to point out though that Bond goes to this diplomat's place in China,
yes.
and the a guy drives him right with his nieces. But then doesn't he wake up in a dojo in Thailand, and the guy picks him up with his nieces still in the car?
Yeah.
I don't,
Great point.
I don't like. And look, I'm
You
American,
don't
so
know,
my geography is terrible,
but
um, in general. But that doesn't seem right to me.
no, no, it does not. Great point. Great point that you said that. Wow, wow. Spot on. I mean, I also, if we could just talk about why the heck would your boy JW Pepper be
Oh, is it time
vacationing?
is it time to talk about
Just
J.W.
because
Pepper?
we're there, we're
Let's do
located
it.
where he is
Let's
vacationing
do it.
with his wife, who you were so right. I was like, I thought you meant maybe a little bit later. I don't know when we got to maybe America again, but no, the audience is like, you know, who was a crowd favorite?
Right?
JW Pepper, the racist sheriff from Live and Let Die. Let's bring him in.
Like, because it would almost make sense if we saw him again if we were back in America. But no, he is inexplicably on vacation with his wife in Thailand, the exact same spot in Thailand where he is sightseeing is where James Bond's having his like motorboat chase. And is he more of a cartoon character in this movie than he
Yeah,
was in Live and Let Die?
and he's like, "Oh, Bond, remember me? We're partners. Me and my partner over here. We're working hard." And I'm like, "Get out of here. No one likes you." And you're like this weird little sidekick, a cartoon character sidekick uh, that the audience loved clearly, and
I,
we're like our beloved JW Pepper.
our beloved
Oh,
J.W.
that
Pepper.
scoundrel. Oh, that little racist
Do you
scoundrel.
do you think they were trying to like replace Felix Leiter?
No, could you imagine? What a wow. What, you
I
know?
mean, look, they do replace Felix Leiter with Joe Don Baker with Jimbo.
Yeah.
So he's not racist, but I mean
So
he's
this is what the world thinks of America. Like, serves us right.
well, yes.
This serves us right. This is what we
Put a
get.
Big Mac in his hand. That's how the world sees us.
Oh
um,
man.
but yeah, no, J.W. Pepper. And then like I would have been okay. I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have been okay if the only thing we see of him is when he gets knocked into the water. Because he's also part of what makes this movie really racist. He keeps calling them brown pointy heads.
Dear God, no. Oh no. I didn't
I
catch.
mean,
Oh no. I was like, I was tuning out because I was like, I just can't do this. And
it's
I was
yeah,
like,
no, I was watching because I knew I was gonna have to address the racism of this
damn. Oh
movie.
my
But
God.
he's like when he sees like them when the boats right and they get into and he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on, but they get into like a traffic jam on the water, and it's like, you pointy heads, you're in a traffic jam. You can't do the boat thing, like whatever. But he's like, but then it comes back when because Bond's he's and this is a weird thing too. I want to talk to you about. So the next time we see J.W. Pepper, he is test driving a car that he is going to what buy and bring back to the states from Thailand
Yeah. Oh
on a
no.
Louisiana Bayou sheriff salary.
If we had just done, why are you vacationing in Thailand? Why are you just not like in Florida, like a normal, like, or
Right,
California or something, and or in New York? But why, uh, and why so long? Why not just be like a joke with him and his wife about like, oh, the boat chase, and be like, oh, that damn James Bond, and we can all just go like, oh,
mm-hmm.
dumb, stupid, or like a little American humor for us. Why so long? Why so much? And he gets
Because
to
yeah,
go with Bond for the ride. Like,
he he's a sidekick. He is Felix Leiter here.
No, thank you. I was so
No,
mad.
I
I was like,
mean
I didn't realize, and they must have blacked some of that out because I really don't
it's
remember us being that long, like hanging out in
you
China,
could
and then like him there. I was like, I don't. How did I not forget all this?
you could cut him out of this movie completely, and
Yeah.
it's fine. Although I will say that the last time we see him, and this is the last time we see him in the James Bond franchise, it is quite cathartic that we see him trying to pull American muscle on like Thai cops who were chasing him because
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
James Bond stole a car that he was test driving. Like, and James Bond is like, I ain't saying shit to the police. I'm getting out of here. And he's like, I got the JW Pepper. I'm American Legion. I'm a peace officer, and and they just throw the cuffs on him. And I hope that he gets locked up abroad, and whatever happens to Americans that get locked up abroad in the 70s happens to him because he
Oh
was
my gosh.
terrible,
He was the worst. I think you're right. I think this is his like this is his payback.
right?
I had to do
All
this.
right. But all right, that is the end of JW Pepper. We never have to see him
Thank
again.
God.
What do we have left? So we have the villain,
Mhm.
the villain's plan, the henchman. There's no real Q branch, right? Like we think
No.
we get the car plane.
Yeah, yeah, which is cool.
That's pretty cool.
Um,
Q is in the movie, and Q like tells him like Q doesn't do Q like things. He's looking at
no,
gold, and he's like,
no,
I know
no.
who made this golden bullet.
Yeah, yeah, which is kind of I mean, that's like the team. Like Moneypenny's there, and then he's there just to do a little bit of like intel in the beginning, and then we don't, we're not doing this. But there's so much stereotypical James Bond stuff going on in this movie that's not like, oh, here's a Bond gadget, blow up. Just the whole villain and his plan and his layer is like
Mm.
Austin Powers fodder,
It,
right? For
I
or
was
like
gonna say Austin Powers takes a lot from this movie.
yeah, and I don't think I ever realized that, or I just never really like clocked that. And I was like, that is my favorite like James Bond movie.
It's so much fun. So I'll quickly just sum up Scaramanga's plan and sort of his whole thing. So Scaramanga's an assassin. He charges $1 million a shot. He's got the golden gun. Bond gets this 007 bullet, as I said, a golden bullet, and he then has to track down. And I just want to talk about this because we're not getting out of this conversation until we talk about that belly dancing scene, which I'm going to bring
Oh
up
my
now.
gosh.
So Bond has to track down Scaramanga, and Kitty, talk about the belly dancing scene. You're excited.
I just that that actress was like killing me. Is she a Bond girl? Do we think the belly dancer?
I'd say yes. I mean, I'd say she's sexy. She's doing Bond things. She's a girl.
She sure is. I was dying when he was talking to her, and then just fights break out in her room, and she is worried about the stupidest things. When Bond breaks it, like her like I don't know. I just feel like she should be in more danger, or just like I don't know. Nothing is phasing her.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have thoughts.
Well,
I can go through my notes because I have a lot of notes about the
yeah,
belly
no,
dancer.
like my thing about her is she is cold blooded because
Yeah,
like she was with another double agent, right?
right.
Not double agent, another I think 00, another agent, and he was
Mhm.
murdered by Scaramanga. The way Scaramanga did it was he capped him with a golden bullet, then the bullet went into the wall, and she fished it out and made it into a belly button like.
And it's very important to her. And she freaked out when they took it. And I don't know, her priorities are it's very
It's
strange.
it's ridiculous. And I love how Bond gets because he's got the whole thing. He's got to get this bullet,
yeah.
so Q could tell him who made the bullet, so he could track down Scaramanga. And the way he gets it is they're about to she wants to have sex with him, and he actually is not into the sex, which again I kind of respect this Bond. I mean, look,
Yeah.
he's not going to say no to the sex, but it's not like he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have sex, and then if I remember, I'll do the mission. It's
Right,
like
no, he's mission oriented. Yeah,
mission
sure
oriented
is.
because he could have just had sex and then with her and then got the thing later, but he drops something down and pretends to go down, and he's like pretending to kiss her. He's kissing her stomach,
Yeah.
and then he's about to he's about to take the thing in his mouth, and I guess leave. when he gets attacked from behind, he swallows it, and then this whole Mishigosh comes in, and he
Comes
gets,
in
there's a fight.
and starts knocking his stuff out. She was just like, I don't think I remember that scene from like watching it. I remember it, but I was like, this was just so much sillier to me kind of watching it the second time. Oh my gosh, minimal work. Oh my gosh, where is it? Something. What the heck did I say about? Oh man. Well, I'm snacking. I. That's something else.
Is this about the belly dancer?
No, I bond full on smacking people, like smacking women.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's handsy. It's
He's
not
very, which is not like, I guess I didn't remember the last movie. I have Money Penny. Money Penny is a pistol, because she's totally rebuking. Does this Money Penny just not like Roger Moore?
I think so.
Yeah, I like that take.
So.
I like that take a lot. That he's like, why don't we settle down? She's like, I don't like you.
I was attracted to Sean Connery. You are Roger Moore.
You, sir, are no Sean Connery. I would like you to come back and be Sean Connery, which I'm looking forward to. More Money Penny with Roger Moore dynamics. Oh my goodness.
But so, like, real quick, so just to go through Scaramanga, because I realized I'm going to talk about the villain, but first via this other scene. But his thing is, he's not trying to kill Bond. He actually is assassinating this solar expert who's working with him, who's trying to defect back to England. And he's working with someone in the Chinese government or a Chinese diplomat. I'm not actually sure what that guy's deal was. He was rich, so I assume he was a diplomat or a politician or something. And there again, he's trying to create a monopoly of solar energies to sell it to the highest bidder.
Such a good villain plan, such a classic villain plan.
It's such a because it's like 6 more steps than you actually need.
And when you say it like that, yeah, it sounds really
no, exactly. It's like you charge $1 million a shot. You own an island.
Why?
Do you really need to sell this?
Great point.
But it doesn't matter. He does need to sell it, and he also used it. We find at the end because that's his plan. And he wants to like face off against James Bond to prove he's better than him. So when James Bond does come to his island at the end, he shows him he's got a freaking laser, which I was like, yeah, lasers, baby. I love the 70s.
Does Roger Moore have all the lasers? Does he have the most lasers?
I think in Moonraker he does.
Oh man, so that alone, the laser quota alone in Moonraker.
Oh god, everyone has a laser in Moonraker. It's like, so like, remember we were talking about how these movies are like influenced by what's going on. Like Moonraker was influenced by Star Wars. Like they came out the same year, I think, or maybe it came out a year or two after Star Wars.
Oh man, so technology. They're like laser. We're gonna be all over
Bond in space. Yeah, and so then the end of this movie, so that is Scaramanga's plan. So like we talked him up a lot, but I would do want Rick pointed this out, is that he's so good. He puts his gun together right before he kills someone, which I do love that. He assassinates like the guy he's working with, the diplomat or politician or whatever, and like he's talking to him. He's sitting at the guy's desk talking to him, just assembling his golden gun. And then, of course, he just assassinates.
So it's threatening, awesome. Very threatening.
And it's Christopher Lee doing it. Christopher Lee could make a ham sandwich on rye and it'd be threatening. Like
imposing, yeah. He looks great. And he looks great in beachwear. He's a lot of beachwear, a lot of like shorts and like just like short button-ups, short sleeve shirt button-ups.
Which I love. I actually do love Scaramanga's beachwear, but I also love the white suit.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of fashionable here.
He's very fashionable. He's casual, which is even more scary.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And look, my favorite villain so far. This is the best villain we've seen in one of these movies. I can't think of a villain that I was just more like, yes, this guy gets what a James Bond villain is for me.
Yeah. And people said the mirroring of his skills being kind of similar to Bond.
Right.
And how do you feel about him being a Bond? Do you feel like he could have been like a James Bond? Because he's British. And I don't know, tall, dark, maybe the 60s,
I think
50s.
if they started doing Bond before they did, yes. However, though, I think he'd be as he was, he'd have been a great M. You know, like I think
Oh yeah.
whenever a British actor, in my opinion, that I think would make a really good James Bond gets a bit too old for the role, I'm just like
Oh,
M,
push him
baby, like
down.
yeah, because M is a
Hmm.
great character, and I really feel like with the advent of or the advent with the casting of Judi Dench, like they really have and I hope they continue this in the newer ones that come out. They really did start making M a fleshed out character.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what if Pierce Brosnan's at? What if he comes out and just like and just you know
Whatever he wants, whatever he wants.
he
He
deserves
could
it,
be
right?
he could be a villain. If they want to bring him back as a villain, that's fine.
Oh,
And I guess the only one left to talk about is Nick Knack, which
oh, Nick Nack.
I saved for last because even though I love Christopher Lee in this, like Irving Village's Nick Knack is my favorite character in this movie. He's so cool. Like when Bond and Scaramanga go to the boxing or the kickboxing match, and he sits down and
Oh
Scaramanga's
yeah,
like, "Yeah, I got someone on you." And he's
yeah.
like, "No, you don't." And Hervé Villechaize is there just because he's a little person with a small derringer in Bond's back, eating peanuts. Just no, it's okay. I'm here.
He's like, I don't see anybody. He's like, just look down a little bit, and he's like, oh, okay. But he's like so because my favorite trope that I don't think any of the 90s or the 80s Bond, I mean, or like I don't think Timothy Dalton or Pierce Brosnan did it the villain's been defeated, but the henchman is still alive. So
Well,
like last movie,
yeah.
Teehee was still
Mhm.
around, and now we have Nick Nack, who is just like sinisterly comes in, and that's like a full on fight scene with him and Roger Moore. That like Roger Moore can't like is like getting
Right.
bested.
And I think it's honestly for me only the end of this movie that I feel is ableist. Because I do feel up
Wow.
until the end, yes, they call him a midget, and that's not right, but that was the nomenclature in the 70s. So I can't fault it for that, even though I acknowledge that it's not what should be done. They didn't know any better. It's like punishing my 2-year-old, for some, that's how I feel about our
There.
forefathers. But he has agency. I mean, he's a really good fighter. He kills a bunch of people. My problem is that the very end, Roger Moore beats him by shutting him in a fucking suitcase.
I was like shocked by that, and that was like because again, I remember that though. I remember it's just like as easily as Mary Goodnight getting shoved into a trunk of a car,
Right.
and like
Right.
and just in her closet. I was like, I knew, and then where this is going. But he's been so efficient. Not efficient. I shouldn't even say that. Like he's just like he's been the best henchman ever. Like he's literally the
Right.
muscle for Christopher Lee the entire movie, and just
Yes.
like and sneaky and just like it's super quick. It's just like quick and just like a little devious person and yeah, and then he just kind of gets like put in a suitcase and then and talk about undignified endings to like
That's
our
it.
villains.
That's it.
Yeah, that's definitely
Because
what happens here.
he gets shoved into a trunk and then just put in a rope cage to hang on this boat that they're in. It's like he is not even a human being. It's like,
Yeah,
honestly, they needed to kill him.
yeah.
You killed Teehee, you threw that motherfucker out of a moving train.
You had a pun about it. Yep.
Right. Like I cannot think, I was thinking about it today. I
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
think of any other henchman that Bond just lets live and like just like disgraces him by
You're
putting him
so
in a freaking
right. That's like
cage.
dehumanizing
Yes.
the person, which again, that's such talk about dick moves from Roger Moore, but I think his Bond is the most capable of that. It's like because that's why I don't know. It's like maybe that's like the mean spiritedness of Roger Moore's and like the full on misogynist is it's like not even fun. Like I'm like
No, it's not even fun misogyny like
we
Sean
can't
Connery.
even or like I don't know, you're not like the Sean Connery sex appeal of Sean Connery to be like oh gosh, but you're so damn attractive, like I'm like at odds with that. It's like you're sleazy. I'm like such a dick.
Yeah, sleazy is a very good word for him because he's attractive, but he's sleazy.
A little less sleazy in this movie, I'll say, but I know it gets. I know
Oh, it gets
where we're
like wait until we get to A View to a Kill, where he's like trying to bet a 20-year-old girl, and you're sitting there going, "Oh my god, you're like her grandfather! Get out of here!"
Oh no! Oh no!
um, but yeah, Nick Nack should have been killed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because literally one of the best and most effective henchmen,
Right.
and to just leave him in that dehumanizing state, I really think takes all of his agency away that he did have throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
was an actual character outside of being a little person, and they just take his dignity in those last
Yeah.
5 minutes. And I
Yeah.
think I could see Bond doing that. I just wish the writers didn't do it.
Right. Right. And no, full on. He's great. He was like in so much of the movie.
Oh, he's
Like, man,
fantastic.
what a foe! What a like a foil.
And like having him be the person, like at the end too, because we at the end of this movie when Scaramanga and Bond face off, we get a call back to the cold open
Mm.
where they're in the funhouse.
Yeah.
And I love that
I
Hervé
love that
Villechaize,
funhouse.
and me too. And I love that Nick Nack runs it, like, and he's not cheating. He's like, and that's why I'm kind of surprised when he shows up at the end. Like, honestly, I didn't
Why?
want to see him attack at the end. I wanted to see like the last shot of this movie should have been them going by Scaramanga's island on this slow boat from China, and you just see Hervé Villechaize being waited on.
Yeah. Great point. What a great point. Yeah, because he did it to get the stuff.
Right, like it was made clear in the
Oh my
beginning that like he yes, he likes doing what he's doing with Scaramanga, but you know, part of the training is trying to kill his master. Once his master's dead, he gets everything.
Yeah.
So does he want revenge? Revenge about what?
Did Bond insult him at some point during the movie? I feel like no.
I don't even think so. Bond barely interacts with him until
No.
he like puts him in a freaking trunk.
Oh my gosh. Maybe he was trying to get married. Maybe he was trying to get married goodnight.
Maybe that's what it was. He missed her. He wanted her back on the island. He's like, I have an island now.
Come.
Come, I have your bikini. It's beautiful.
It is a great bikini. It's
It
a
is-
great bikini.
It is a great bikini. All right, I'm gonna look through my notes, see if we have anything else to
I
talk
know,
about.
me too. I'm just obsessed with that fun house. I love a good fun house. I love animatronics. I love dummies. We don't have that anymore. Villains don't want to do the work. They want to put the
We
work in.
don't.
And
They-
he's a circus. I like the backstory about but that's how you know it's from the novel, right?
Yes.
But his
Yeah.
backstory is the circus.
And I was gonna say that is 100% from the novel.
That's awesome.
With the like the elephant, the story about the elephant, and him, like that's all his backstory in the book.
Wow, that is because you must see that in the text. Some of it's beautiful and kind of like, I mean, I don't. Maybe you can point it out more, but like the prose and just like that. What a nice. And then Christopher Lee gets to do it, and it's like even better because he can crush it. And I love that. I forgot how much I love that plot about him.
No, that is a cool part. I forgot that was his backstory because again, I was listening to the book this week and watched the movie. So I was like, oh wow, I just read about that. No, I just listened to that. Let's see. I really like the stuff. I actually do like the stuff where he's tracking Scaramanga down, even outside of the belly dancing stuff. Like I like when he goes to the gun maker. I wish I could have seen more of him. Like the three fingered the rifle for the 3-fingered shooter is awesome.
Yep. That's it. Again, that must. I feel he's doing so much work. I don't know. There's no distraction in the beginning. I just feel like he's pretty efficient as an agent, or he's just really working. He's working hard, just working.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't hurt that he thinks that there's a contract on his life. Like
maybe great point. Great point.
That's what it is. He's like, look, if this were Q or M's life, I'd try to slip it in a couple times on the way here. But look, it's my life. I'm on the clock.
That's how you get people to work harder. Just threaten their life.
Their life, which is what he does to this Lazar guy, which I think is hysterical. And he aims the gun at his crotch, but because it's weighted for someone with 3 fingers, the aim is off, and he just shoots the guy at the crotch and misses. And the guy's like, "All right, I'll tell you who he is." I thought that was really fun. Oh my god, can I tell you the best smash cut in the history of film is in this movie, Ginny?
Oh no, what is it?
So Bond is I don't remember who he's with. He's probably Goodnight, and they're drinking, and he goes, instead of going cheers, he goes bottoms up, and it smash cuts to a sex worker, like a stripper, like her butt in the air.
I'm not paying attention to that. I must
Yeah,
have missed.
because that's when he goes to Macau, because the whole
Yeah.
thing is Scaramanga's.
Oh, this at the bar, yeah, with
Yeah,
the
he goes to
with the lady. Yes.
the strip club, but like the cut is bottoms up to this
Her
woman's just
butt?
ass up in the seat. It's like, that's brilliant. Her bottom is up.
Classy, James Bond. Classy.
You know that editor was like, "Oh, that's right."
He's like, great, nailed it. They're gonna be super pleased. Oh man, oh man. I can't,
Uh,
I'm looking forward to more of this. Man, I don't know. I just feel like this shouldn't be the second Bond movie.
yeah, that's the thing, and we'll get there as we go through more. His stuff is just, it's so hit or miss, and I think because they're really doing the books out of order, and they're not even trying to tie it to each other, whereas the Connery ones kind of have some continuity through a couple of them, and the books all have continuity. Like I had to jump to The Men with the Golden Gun for this episode, and I'm like, wait, Felix Leiter's back on the CIA? Because Felix is in the book,
Right.
even though he's got one hand and a hook, but he's back in the CIA, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with the other characters. So there's continuity, but I think because there is no continuity and they're just trying to do these one-off, like, genre of the month pieces, I think that's why it feels so disconnected and so like, wait, this was a first or second one? Like,
That's okay. That's so interesting. I'm gonna read those books now too. Especially
I mean,
with the Golden Gun.
you should. I mean, or listen to it. Like, if you like, I don't have time to read it, but I listened to it. It was only, I think, it's a 6-hour book read by Kenneth Branagh.
Oh my god! Oh
yeah.
my god!
No, and Moonraker was read by who's the guy from the Underworld series?
Michael Sheen?
No, the older guy, the villain.
Oh, Bill Nye. Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, yeah.
Oh
Bill Nye
God.
reads like this, so they get like respected
Oh my
British
gosh,
actors.
that's okay. That's all you need to say, because it's like my audiobooks need to
Yeah.
be read by someone I like, or like they're just great.
I forget which one it was that I listened to, but one of them was read by Tom Hiddleston.
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
nice.
So like, if you like, it's worth going back. I mean, I've been enjoying them. But this book's so different. Like, the way this book is all about Scaramanga, like opening up a hotel in Jamaica, and Bond is sent to infiltrate because he killed one of their agents, and of course Bond is being sent on the suicide mission, and he's working with like the mafia and the KGB and like all of these people to build this hotel, and then they're going to build a casino, and they're going to launder money, and like it's a bit convoluted. But Bond actually does pretend to be someone who's not James Bond. He actually
Finally,
the first third of the book pretending to be someone else.
Oh, also another thing my husband said, in addition to the fact that Bond never impersonates people, is when Mary Goodnight has to be in a bikini, which is kind of weird. And it's like, why like the hell are we doing this when she's like kidnapped? But then Christopher Lee's like, well, I just want to make sure you don't have any weapons on you. And I was like, oh, good point. No, that I guess, like, what a nice cover, like, to get her in a bikini.
Right.
And then my husband goes, well, why isn't Bond in a bikini? I was like,
that's a good point.
Better point, Tom.
And Bond has a weapon because Bond tries to pull it out.
Yeah, so stupid.
Over dinner.
What the hell are we doing?
Oh,
Mess.
So Ginny, anything else? Anything from your notes before we talk about the effectiveness of this mission?
No, I mean, that was it. There was so much to enjoy, but lack of action scenes. I think I kept going like, where are my action scenes?
Lack of that, but you know what? I will say that interesting set pieces. So
Interesting set pieces.
I thought the set piece of the half submerged, half like destroyed submarine or boat or whatever in the Macau Ocean, that MI6 is kind of taken over, that Bond is brought like right at, like, I thought that was,
and it's like going down. Yeah,
it's tilted and it's weird.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a super cool set piece. I thought we'd said it before, but the carnival I thought was a super cool set.
Right. Yeah.
set piece. I did like despite myself, I did like the car flip he does with J.W. Pepper in the car.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well,
I
but
mean,
then yeah, sound effects minus that sound effects going on.
oh, I don't like. I have a note. Like, why did why did the sound
Whistle.
effects and the sound get wonky and goofy? Like,
Silly.
like a slide whistle.
Yeah. Made a note about that. But no, but yeah, because so I was like, I kind of goes like, I guess this is the action seek, but we're not like in Pierce Brosnan, I don't know,
No.
sort of world where it's like we expect that to have these huge scenes.
Yeah, and I think too, like when we go back to Connery, like this is more like the Connery action scenes. Like I think we get the fisticuffs really. I think when
Yeah.
Dalton takes over, I think that's
Right,
what
right,
he
right,
adds
right.
to the franchise. But so that's why I didn't really clock it as not too much action. I kind of looked at the set pieces because that's how you kind of have to look at a
That's
lot of
fair.
the Connery ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, good
Um,
point.
but you're not wrong. There could be more action. I mean, yeah, I saw two schoolgirls kick the shit out of people while our James Bond stood back and smoked a cigar.
We're literally, yeah, literally
Literally.
smoking cigars.
You notice though? You notice since I pointed it out?
Yeah.
No cigarettes, which is fine, but no drinking. It's just cigars.
No drinking. No, not from him.
And
No.
I don't understand. Like, well, I guess,
Well, champagne. A lot of champagne. He's always drinking
yeah,
champagne, which is like
yeah, but
water to everyone.
right, and also like he's not like martini alcoholic drinking. He's like we're gonna bottoms up, or
No,
like like he's drinking to sleep with someone, or
yeah,
to
it's a good point.
disarm someone. He's not sitting down and going, "I need a drink," you know.
No.
Which Bond does say in this book I was listening in the novel of this, like when he realizes that they're onto him and he could be killed, he's like, God, I need a drink.
Yes, man. I almost don't trust a bot that doesn't drink.
Right, that's why. That's our problem with Roger Moore. He needs to
I
drink
know
more,
something's off. I'm like, what is with you, man? You're too clear eye,
right?
too clear minded.
But I just think it's weird that he was able to go. I'd rather cigars instead of martinis, as if Sean Connery and not Ian Fleming created this character.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Interesting.
but yeah, but it is what it is. All right, so I think that's it. Ginny, would you and this is a stupid question from both of us, but would you consider this a successful mission for the Roger Moore part of this tour?
I think so. This is again, like we said, there's just so much. I think it's very the levity. The Bond villain's amazing. This is sort of a quintessential Bond plot, Bond villain plan. Um, you got two Bond girls, one good, one bad, sort of that dichotomy, and yeah, I just think it's super fun, and I love it. I do love it. Can't help myself.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ginny. As I said, it's problematic. I'm not going to lie, it's problematic, and I'm not going to gloss over it. And I'm going to be honest. If you're someone who is triggered by problematic things like that, or someone who just it's not for you, then you were going to hate this movie and never watch it.
Hmm.
But I did enjoy it a lot, despite the problematic stuff. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but again, Christopher Lee is a quintessential top tier Bond villain of Scaramanga. Nick Nack is top tier, if not the best henchman in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
franchise. Man, I forget how interesting the henchmen all were in the beginning, because the
Yeah.
henchmen in the later ones are kind of boring.
Well, this is when that was the best part about Spectre. We had a villain that was like
Yes,
had to get, you got to have a gimmick. You had to have something special about you. I would say special, something special about you or
right.
unique. And yeah, and no, we don't get them anymore, I say.
Yeah, we don't. But yeah, so this just like hits a lot of the James Bond boxes for me. So even with all of its problems, I think it's a huge success. This I think right now I haven't redone any rankings, and I won't until we finish the Roger Moore run. But this is definitely in my top 5.
Yeah. Oh man. Man, yeah, I wonder. That's
Like
so,
I like this.
hmm.
I like this. I enjoy this more than the Dalton movies. I'm not saying it's better. I enjoy it more.
Okay,
But,
interesting.
but again, like my favorite is Sean Connery. So like
Right.
the farther we go into crazy 60s like spy verse, like I'm there. Like full disclosure, I own not one but both of the Flint movies or the Flynn movies. Do you know those movies?
No.
In like Flint and
Oh.
Our Man Flint, which starred Robert Mitchum,
Oh my
and it was like
gosh.
a James Bond type character where he's just like but he's American.
Yeah, but
I own it. I'll lend it to you
oh,
next time we
awesome.
hang
I've
out.
never heard
Yeah.
no, I know, I mean, I know it in, like, Flint, that saying, but
Yeah, but it comes from the movie,
that's
and I
crazy.
know that because when I got huge into Bond stuff and the Avengers on the BBC and all of the 60s spy stuff, like I would just go out and go, "Oh, that's a 60s spy movie here at Best Buy for $7. Yoink." You know?
Oh. Aw.
Um but yeah, so that's the thing. I like the campier the fun campier the better for me. So this just ticks a lot of boxes. So yeah, I think it's a huge success.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
All right. So thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Whether you got us on the Facebook or you got us live or you're getting us in Memorex on forget anymore. What is Memorex, mister? I'm sorry, I was being my kids there for a second.
Fancy.
Or get us on Spotify or whatever. Thanks for joining us. If you were a fan of the show and you haven't done so yet, please join us and join us in the group. We've been posting more and more stuff on the group. Ed is our Q branch. He's always finding some really cool videos. I always try to find some weird stuff to post when I can. So yeah, please join us on the group and post away about Bond. We love talking about Bond. If you enjoyed what you oh wait, no, I should plug what we're doing next week first before I plug every other show on the damn network. Join us next week when our mission is going to be Roger Moore. I think this is I'm going to say it, Ginny. This is the best, in my opinion, Roger Moore movie that we're going to get. In my opinion, it doesn't get any better than this. It only gets worse.
Okay.
It's The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm all out of order. I don't know where we're
okay.
going anymore.
It's okay. That's why I'm here. I am our James Bond Sherpa. But yeah, we're gonna do The Spy Who Loved Me with again this Roger Moore. It's a more serious take.
Yeah.
We'll see. We get the debut of the iconic Jaws character. We get I forget her name, but the Bond girl is married to Ringo Starr.
Ringo
right?
Starr, Barbara Bach.
Barbara Bach. That was it. And I think it is like it's the movie for me that makes me go, yeah, okay, I can tolerate the others. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about it with you,
man.
Ginny. But let's say you've listened to an hour and 20 minutes of us talk about James Bond, but James Bond is not something you're interested in, or you have other interests than James Bond. Well, then check out one of the many, many shows here on Pop Culture Pros, including Granny's Peach Tea, which I am a co-host of with our resident Q branch Ed, who couldn't join us tonight. Get your latest serving of sweet geeky goodness with Granny's Peach Tea, which is the inspiration, by the way, for this cup. That's why
oh no, is it? Oh man, I hate you guys so much.
The very first episode of Granny's Peach Tea, I put this, and I put something in here that looked like urine, and I've been drinking from it ever since. Whenever I do a show here.
God. I'll never forget. Never forget.
Yeah. Hey, it's a great movie. No, it's not. But you can join us. We're doing this week. We're doing Morbius. So we're doing a new movie. Ed and I saw Morbius. Ginny, have you seen Morbius yet?
No, I have not. I don't know if I want to. I heard the Venom movies are fun, so I should check those out.
You can listen to our episodes on those, or I'll tell you about them off the air. But we're going to be doing Morbius with Jared Leto. We're also going to be covering the second episode of Moon Knight, which Moon Knight, you got to get on that if you haven't. Ginny, are you on Moon Knight?
I am. I do. I'm into it. I am into it.
It's crazy. I don't know anything about this character. And
No.
I'm all in.
No, Oscar Isaac. Oh,
I'm so glad that he's been redeemed, right? Because he was Apocalypse. Not his fault that it was terrible, but it was terrible.
No. This is acting. This is acting for him. This is gonna be great.
Very good stuff. So yeah, well, I'm excited to talk about that. But let's say you don't like comic books. Let's say instead you like, you know, Star Wars. Well, then you could join our friend of the show, Tim, who does the damn it, I cannot find it. I've been on this show. Why can't I find Shooting the Sith? Man, it's been a long day. Shooting the Sith, where he talks everything Star Wars, and I do a recurring bit on that show. He does everything Star Wars, so not just television or movies, but also the culture and tattoos and the such. In addition to that, we got Old Dirty podcast with Rick, friend of the show, who was chiming in before, which I know it started out as being about bare knuckle boxing and fighting, but I think he's expanding his brand, so I'm excited to see what he does there. If you like movies that are not James Bond or comic book related, then you can join Jada and Kyle, who cover the newest movies in a very a less casual way than we do here in this program. We kind of just go, I like that, I hate that, Or let's say you don't like any of that stuff, but you're into sports. You got the Wrestling, which is the Just Too Sweet show, where they cover all the new wrestling. You got Unsportsmanlike Conduct, which isn't on right now, same as We Stomped You Out, but they cover football. But, if you like football, you can go back and listen to some of the back episodes. We got the newest show on Pop Culture Pros, Skyline Reviews, which I believe I saw that the last episode they covered were places to drink alcohol in Disney World.
Yeah.
Have you listened to that one, Ginny?
That sounds like something to be up my alley. I should check that one out.
I think I'm going to listen to that one as well, because you never know when you're going to need a good thing of peach tea,
Need it. With the kids? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially with the kids. So, but let's say you're into baseball. Baseball season's coming up. You could join, if you're into the Yankees, Empire 161 show, which Ed hosts, Ed Camus, as well as Lisa is his co-host. Or if you want to join Boss Man himself for the Mets podcast, Put It in the Books, is where it's at. But let's say you like none of those things. Let's say you are more eclectic and you like a little bit of everything from A to Z, a little bit of everything from Aphrodite to Zeus. I gotta mark them off because I'll forget. Thank you.
Like done.
I literally did. I literally have a whole.
That's actually great. That's a super solid one.
Thank you. And again, I didn't look these up. It's all pure fashetic. Then you could join the A to Z show with friends of the show, Tim and Eric, where they literally cover everything from A to Z. They've done such shows as video game music. They did a post-COVID show, so they do a lot of interesting stuff there. All right, so I think that is the end. Ginny, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Of course. Thank you so much. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. And I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys. See ya.
I am invincible. I got that in for you, Ed, if you're listening.